Welcome back to Design and Draw. So we are in week 9, and I'm actually combining week 9 with the end of next week to get you all the way through to spring break. So today, first thing you need to do is watch the weekly update. Great job, doing great. Make sure you're always responding to our weekly discussion post. So this week's weekly discussion post is really relevant because it's talking about what materials you can use for a scratch board. So in your supply kit, you should have your big scratch board, the big black board. You should have a little scratch board to do our little practice on, which you'll do today. And then you're also going to have a couple random things. This little wooden stick, which can be used, it's got a little pointy edge, can be used in the scratch board. You can also use it to tape the tack that I put in there, which works really well on a scratch board. But there are lots of different things you can use. I've had people use screwdrivers. I've had people use like little X-Acto knives. I've had people use various tools, keys, all kinds of things to create different textures and marks on their scratch board. So feel free to practice some of those and then come back to us on our weekly discussion and tell us what you're using. Okay, so for that discussion, I want you to try out something different. Then that brings us to today, which today is a very important assignment. You are going to watch the animal scratch board instructions and follow along with my slides where I am going to walk you through everything you need to know to get you through your big scratch board. So last week you were doing practices, you did your little practice raccoon tutorial. This week and all the way through spring break, and then a couple days when we get back from spring break, are completely dedicated to just working on your scratch board with whatever animal you choose. I also went ahead and linked today the raccoon tutorial from last week. That's the same technique that you're going to use on the big one. So if you get stuck on the big one, I want you to follow along with that one, only now do it with your animal, but you can still follow the same steps with me. Then tomorrow, you will have some work time. You should be on the tracing part tomorrow. And so as you can see on each day that we have work time, I give you suggestions on where you should be to make sure that you're spreading this out and you're not trying to do it all at the very end. So trace and begin scratching just the solid white areas first. On Friday, I want you to carefully start adding some texture. That's when you can use some really different things around your house and test those out to see what kind of texture you need to create for your animal. On Monday, you should be about halfway done by then. Okay, you'll have about a week, a little over a week left, and so I want you to make sure that you're making that adequate progress. On Tuesday, I have a scratch board tutorial that I want you just to watch while you're working. I think it's really nice to see other people working on these, and so this is by a professional who's doing a cat. And then make sure your weekly discussion is turned in by next Tuesday. On Wednesday, so that kind of brings us to the end of next week, I've got a professional who does an owl, which uses some different techniques, so I'd love for you to watch that and continue working and making progress. And then on Thursday, well, you should have already turned that in, so I'm actually going to move that out of the way. But you have work time, and then a couple things I want you to mark your calendars for. So Thursday is the last day of first quarter, so I will be entering grades that Friday, so make sure that all your grades are updated. And then I want you to make sure that you put in your calendar for when we get back from spring break. Your final scratch board project is due April 6th, and then we have our critique at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday, April 8th, just like we've done before. Okay, so make sure those things are marked and ready to go. As always, everything you need is right in here. Your discussion is in the weekly discussion part. And then everything is both linked in your calendar as well as right in here. So here's where you'll turn in your scratch board on April 6th. Here's where those different images are. And then here's the instructions where that you'll be watching today, and the slides to follow along if you want to reference those. If you need anything at all, let me know. and make some really awesome progress. Scratchboard's one of my favorites, and usually a lot of people's favorites. So let me know. Bye.